All right, hello. Welcome to the Hold My Helmet Football Podcast. I'm your host, Will Reichling.
I'm your co-host, Dylan Boyle.
Welcome back, Dylan. Welcome back. And, we had a terrible week again picking. We both went 5-8, so didn't do well.
I knew I would have a downfall eventually. I've been doing too good.
Yeah, you've been double-digit wins like 2 or 3 weeks in a row now, so you're bound to come crashing down. For me, I just stay crashing. So we'll start with the 49ers at the Vikings. And, look, Kirk Cousins had himself a day. And this is one of the, and usually he's terrible in these primetime games, specifically Monday night. And this kind of reminded us that Kirk Cousins is a pretty damn good quarterback. And
damn good is right. He was slinging out there like
Jordan Addison, yes. Absolutely. So where does that leave us with the Vikings, and where does that leave us with the Niners? But we'll start with the Vikings first. They're 3-4 now. If you look at their schedule, there's a way where they can rattle off 4 or 5 wins in a row. So can they make the playoffs in the weaker NFC?
They can, but the question is, what are they going to do in the playoffs? Are they going to fold like they did against the Giants, or are they actually going to make some sort of run?
I can't see that happening. They just don't have enough talent right now.
So you say it's talent, but they were missing Justin Jefferson, and they looked pretty good.
Yeah, they did.
Jordan Addison was having himself a day.
He did. And the defense finally stepped up. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of that is just that.
2 picks, right?
Yes.
2 picks.
And exactly. I was going to say, now going to the 49ers, I think a lot of that was Brock Purdy with those 2 bad interceptions, especially the first one. Yeah. He was trying to lead his receiver over the middle, and he kind of just ended up overthrowing him and throwing it right to the safety. And Brock Purdy, other than those 2 interceptions, he was pretty good today. He was. But he had a chance in those last 2 drives to make a name for himself and be like, okay, what do you when you're trailing? And he had a chance to take the lead twice. And what did he do? He turned the ball over. So, I don't know right now. I don't know. Obviously, the Niners are still a great team, a top 5 team. But can they win a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy? I don't know. Especially when things aren't going 100% his way.
Yeah, so that's fair to say. But then again, I don't think it's soon enough to rag on him yet. Don't forget, he still is somewhat of a rookie.
Yeah,
still developing
in a way.
Yes, he has all the pieces you want around him, but obviously in key moments he might choke a little bit. But I don't think we should worry yet. They're coming off of 2 losses, so I think we need a little more time before we say if he's a Super Bowl worthy quarterback. I
agree with that. Then I also agree with the notion, if we have to agree with that, we have to agree with it was too soon of us to put him in the top 10. He's great with a lead. He's great when the Niners are controlling the game, but he struggles when they're trailing. When he needs to make a big throw and the defense knows that he needs to make a big throw, sometimes he struggles. He made some nice throws in this game. Don't get me wrong. He did. Ayuk hit a couple times. Jennings, he made some good throws, but when they needed him most, he folded.
So I think his upside's a lot brighter than his downside is bad, So I feel like he's shown a lot. He's shown he has a bright future in the NFL, but he's obviously had some games where we question, are we sure about that? Is he really going to be up there at a top 10 quarterback? And he still very much can be with how the quarterback position is going right now and how everyone's playing. I can still put him in my top 10, but it just wasn't a good week for him. He still needs to figure out how he plays without some key targets. Obviously, they were missing Debo, but you still got a lot of other
Kittle, Ayuk. But I don't think it's crazy. I think it's a little crazy to jump on him right away. But I just think it was also crazy to anoint him the MVP talk with us, even us on the show. We kind of got a little out of hand. He's a good quarterback, but he's not special, and I think we know that. Now, we kind of got brought back to earth these last 2 weeks when things aren't going completely his way.
I wouldn't say he's not special.
I think. Well, let's think about this. If he was drafted last in the draft, clearly he was missing some kind of component to where teams kind of passed on him, and he's limited to some extent. He doesn't have a rocket arm, but he's mobile. He can move. His special comes with his kind of mobility, his twitchiness, and I think there's some bright side there. Like I said, I don't think this is a ceiling yet. I think there's another level to him. He like you said, he's still a rookie essentially. So there is room for improvement.
What if it was the other way around and he was a first round pick? Then how would you look at it? He has a big upside, has 1 or 2.
That's a good point. That's why so many people look kind of down on him, because he was the last pick in the draft. If he was the number 1 overall pick, people would be praising him even more. But some people are hesitant because he fell in the draft, and people know that he's limited in a way.
Trevor Lawrence, he had some really bad games before he started looking really good.
That's a good point. He still struggles sometimes this season, but people are very quick to
give him a lot of leniency.
Yeah, so that's actually a very good point. Like, especially since he was the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
People kind of give him a lot of leniency, right? He's had some stinkers.
Because he earned it in college.
Exactly. So, and he won a playoff game to come back last year. So people just are very high on them, and they're 5-2, and they haven't looked pretty in all those games, the Jags. No, but we'll get into that in a bit. So now I'd like to get into the Dolphins at Eagles. We were both wrong about this. The score was closer than what the game actually was. Like, the Eagles kind of controlled this game. I never felt like Miami, even when it was tied at 17, I never felt like Miami was going to win that game.
The Eagles are the number 1 defense against the rush, and I feel like if you really take away that factor from the Dolphins, they just have to sling it. And I don't know if I trust Tua in that sense, where, just dropping back in the pocket and just letting it go. This whole season they've had a phenomenal run game with this guy that came out of nowhere.
Achane. Well, now he's been hurt, and now Mostert's good, but
Mostert's amazing.
Yeah, he is, but. This game, it's kind of like they were playing catch-up the whole game to the Eagles. And think about it. Their offense only scored 10 points this game. If they didn't get that pick 6, it would have been more of kind of a blowout in a way. Yeah. So the Eagles controlled this game completely. And, A.J. Brown has been on a tear. He's been a complete tear. This team is just too talented to not right now be either the best or the second best team in the league.
Yeah, that's completely fair. But I wouldn't take Miami out of my top 10 either.
No, they're definitely in my top 10, but I don't know about top 5 anymore. I just don't. They're just too good. They've only beaten bad teams this season. They've played 2 good teams, and they folded against both those teams. But you can't ignore those 70 points they got. That's special in itself.
Yeah.
No matter who you play.
But on the Eagles' end, they've had bad losses too. So
the Jets?
It's kind of, it's confusing.
This league is very confusing. I think we have to stop taking it week by week and maybe just look at it as
put
a
it
whole.
all in a whole
So
thing.
Miami's good, the Eagles are good, but yes, the Eagles are better than Miami, and it showed tonight. Yeah, and that's really not tonight. It showed on Sunday night.
Yeah, and, I mean, listen, I think when we do wide receivers, top 10 top wide receivers, A.J. Brown is definitely up there for me.
Oh, yeah. He might even be top 5 at this point. I think we had him close to 5. I think you might have had him at like 6. I think I had him. He was up there. He was definitely right there.
Yeah. You can't stop him. It's pretty crazy. So let's give them a little grace. The Dolphins, they are missing Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey. And Jalen Ramsey is practicing this week. Yeah. So they should have them back soon. So let's see what the defense could do. If they, have some picks. This might have been a different game if they were playing. Let's be honest.
That's a good point because it's not like their defense played terrible. The offense just didn't play great. But so it was a very telling game. But Miami, I don't know where they are in the AFC now as far as top teams. They're probably top 3, but closer to 3 than
they're definitely running their division. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, especially with the way the Bills have been playing, but we'll get into that. But speaking of top teams in the AFC, boy, are the Ravens up there. The Ravens versus the Lions, and then the Ravens just completely annihilated the Lions. And
this is a pick where I actually looked embarrassing.
I've had a lot of those, so don't worry, my friend. But if you caught my initial reaction video that I posted on Monday, I talked about this a little bit. And Lamar to me is, like I said, going into last episode, I said with you last Thursday, I said that this is going to be the start of Lamar's MVP campaign. And what did it show? He had a stellar game, and now he's on that MVP talk.
I was saying before, the Ravens just haven't had that game where they just either blow out a team or they score 30-plus points.
And this was
that game. Against a good defense, too.
And we said for both teams, this is going to be a huge test for each team because they both haven't really played great teams. I mean, I know the Lions played the Chiefs, but the Chiefs were missing Kelsey and Chris Jones. And now getting into that, the Lions, they beat the Chiefs with Kelsey and Chris Jones, without Kelsey and Chris Jones. And what did they beat? The Falcons, the Packers, the Panthers, and the Bucs. And then they lost to the Seahawks, who's a talented team. So, what are they? Obviously, they're going to win. They're going to win 11, 12 games and win the division. They might even win a playoff game, but can they win a Super Bowl right now?
So, I would completely agree with that all the way. The only thing is they're a young team, too. So, I wouldn't want to get on them too early. I think they're still very talented. And they still have a lot of hopes for the playoffs and maybe to go further. But, just the coaching staff, Dan Campbell, he's a great coach. You know, I think he could really pull them out the dirt. And they could go far if they really wanted to. The Lions aren't the type of team to just, lose a game and then just keep on losing. Like this is going to be a bounce back week for them, and they got an easy bounce back. They're playing the Raiders.
Yeah,
so
yeah, that's true.
This is another get right game for them.
That's a good point because well coached teams like the Lions usually bounce back after an embarrassing loss like that. So you are right about that. This kind of showed that there's a lot to like about the Lions moving forward. Even if they aren't a Super Bowl team this year, they are like a year. They're right there, yeah. And so there's definitely a lot to like about this. I just don't know because I said this on Monday. I don't know if Jared Goff is going to be a guy that can win a Super Bowl for you. He made the Super Bowl with the Rams, but then he got exposed in that game against the Patriots. Belichick completely shut him down. So, and the Rams got rid of him for a reason. So we have to remember, I have him at number 10. He's my top 10 right now, Jared Goff. But there is limitations. If he doesn't get great pass protection, like on Sunday, if he doesn't get a great running game, like on Sunday, he struggles. And I said this all, since the season started, I've said this. But I was riding high with him. I kind of jumped on the bandwagon with you. I'm still on it. I still think they're a top 4 team in the NFC. But they might not be a Super Bowl contender. So they're right outside the bubble right now for me.
I don't know. They have a pretty easy schedule. I wouldn't say easy. I think they have 1 or 2 hard games.
No, you're right, though. That's why I think they're going to win 12 games. They're going to easily win their division. They have the best quarterback in the division, and they have the best roster in the division. So they're going to win the division. How far are they going to win the playoffs? I don't know. I think they can win the playoff game, obviously, because they'll probably play a wild card team. Even if it was Dallas, they probably would beat. I think they could beat Dallas.
But this team might be different in the playoffs, is what I'm telling you. You know,
maybe
Dan Campbell's going to get them riled up.
The problem is David Montgomery gets hurt a lot, and they have a team that can win in the playoffs because they run the ball and they play good defense. But if Montgomery's going to be hurt, they're not going to be able to run the ball like
Gibbs will step up at that point.
Hopefully, because he's kind of gotten off to a slow start this season.
He had a great game, the first game, and then we just haven't seen from him since.
Even that game, they show glimpses, but he barely got the ball.
Like little stuff here and there, you know. But you usually see running backs just take off in this league.
Exactly, but to me, the Ravens. To me, though, the Ravens are a Super Bowl team.
Yeah, they definitely are.
And the AFC North stacked, but they might be the best of that. And Lamar's just playing so good right now. The way he's improved as a passer, making sidearm throws, he looks like Mahomes sometimes.
Listen, he's improved dramatically. So he used to be the quarterback to, if he didn't see it right away, he would just run out the box.
Exactly.
He's taking his time now, and he's letting stuff develop, and he's just making great plays.
Yeah, that touchdown.
He can run.
That touchdown throw, he spun out of the pocket, looked. He would have ran at that point. Nope,
exactly.
Looking,
yeah, last year he would have
touchdown.
Ran. Yeah.
So Lamar is making great strides, and I've heard this. He's kind of the opposite of a player that gets paid. He didn't start to slack. He picked it up. He's like, all right, I got paid now. I'm chilling. I got my receivers. I'm chilling. Let's go win. And they're winning right now.
That's fair. So I think 1 week we need to do MVP week because he's definitely at the top of the list. But I got some other players in mind that I'm going to say later on.
Maybe we'll do that next week. We're going to have to do our power rankings again soon too. So we will get these lists out there. I want to do a top 10 quarterback list, so we'll fit all these in there. We got some lists coming up soon.
Yeah, we might have to do back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
With lists.
Right. So
love that.
Yeah, people do love lists. Chargers at Chiefs though. Now the first half, this was a shootout, back and forth. The second half, all of a sudden, just died out. Yeah. And clearly the defenses made adjustments. But to me, it wasn't enough for Brandon Staley because Travis Kelce was running wide open the entire game. And he's going to find the soft spot in these zone coverages, and yet he continues to do it. So, again, Brandon Staley, not a good job to me. I know Justin Herbert fell off in the second half completely, but at some point he needs to get some help from his head coach. And I think it's time to bring in an offensive guy. Because
definitely
they're 2-4 now, and obviously it's not going to happen.
They're not a 2-4 team,
and with that talent on that roster, they're not. And obviously they're not going to do it this season. But are they in that playoff hunt to me? That's what I'm saying. The AFC is kind of wide open,
which is pretty embarrassing. It's like the Dolphins not making the playoffs,
or the Bengals, or the Bills. I get exactly what you're saying. So
yeah, it was pretty embarrassing, and the Chiefs really stepped up this game. I was saying before, their wide receiver depth isn't that deep, and they've had a few wide receivers that kind of came out of nothing.
They have. Rashee Rice looks like a player to me.
Absolutely.
He might end up being a legit number one eventually. He's been building every single week. Valdez-Scantling had a huge touchdown.
Yes, he did.
Tony made some plays. Sky Moore made some plays. Hardman had the huge punt return. Welcome back, Nicole Hardman.
Yeah, exactly.
Nicole Hardman.
His first day back.
Yes. So they have some. Now it's starting to look like everyone can chip in like that. The Chiefs are going to be just fine.
Yeah.
You know, they've been ever since that Lions game. They've been winning. So not worried about the Chiefs anymore. I know you had some concerns, but are you calmed down now? Or are you still concerned about the Chiefs?
Mahomes put me in my place.
Oh yeah, he had a big game too. 400+ yards. I think he had 4 touchdown passes.
Yeah, of course, he always does.
Big game from Mahomes.
I was saying this in the other podcast. If you have Taylor Swift there, you're gonna win. Like that's your lucky charm right there. Keep her there.
Yeah, the Chiefs are now Swifties, so we'll. I hate to talk about Taylor Swift, so let's just move on. Bills at Patriots, and the Patriots defense played great in this. They were flying around, and of course the Bills started off slow. Stephon Diggs could not get involved in this game, and they picked it up too little, too late. They almost came back and won. But to me, even if they came back and won, could they do this at they would have won? But okay, then. Are they going to be able to do this against, Kansas City and, the Eagles, Chiefs, teams like that? Are they going to be able to come back and win against those teams when they fall down early? Because they didn't do it against the Bengals in the playoffs last year. So, even if they did beat the Patriots here and came back and won, which they almost did, I mean, I still would have been worried, but they didn't. The Patriots went down that last drive, and they scored. And Mac Jones played a good game.
That was impressive. He had a 2-minute drill, and we all thought, we're getting the old Mac Jones. And then he performed.
One of his best games in his career.
It's crazy how much of a roller coaster he's on right now. He's really just I'm staying here.
His first couple of games, the Eagles he played well. The Dolphins he played kind of well. Then had some terrible games. The Jets he didn't play great.
People were talking about trading him. Yeah. People were talking about how they're getting Caleb Williams.
The Saints he played terrible. And this was one of his best games as a pro. And he didn't make stupid mistakes. He made good throws when he had to, and he had a huge drive at the end of the game to win it. So
does this buy him some more time?
It definitely buys him some time.
Yeah, I just wondering how much time it buys him on the clock.
You're gonna give him the whole season basically, and you're gonna if you finish with a bad record, draft a quarterback. And what are they 2-5 now? So they're still not great. But let's think about this: the Bills now. They've lost to the Jets, the Jaguars, and the Patriots.
Almost to the Giants too.
Yeah, exactly. So. This is not...
The Bills worry me. I don't know. They some weeks they have
blowouts.
Great, yeah. They almost blew out the Dolphins.
They blew out the Raiders, the Commanders. They did basically blow out the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And then they almost lose to the Giants. Holding call gone differently. Maybe the outcome changes. And they get their doors boxed in by the Jets defense. And then now they get their doors boxed in by the Patriots defense.
I really don't know what to make of it. I don't
either. Now that they have 2 starting defensive players. Matt Milano, one of the best linebackers in the league, out for the year. Trey White, out for the year. But one of the best corners in the league. So I just don't think this is their year. They have too many injuries.
Dawson Knox now.
Yeah, exactly. So Miami's probably going to win that division almost by process of elimination, just because the Bills are faltering. The Jets aren't that good.
I don't know. Jets might make a run.
They could, but we'll get into that.
Nah, not against my Giants, though.
We'll definitely get into that.
There's going to be a lot of tension this week. Not only are the Jets and Giants playing, we just played each other in fantasy too. So there's still some
he beat me. By the way, he beat me. So
in a way, yeah.
This guy scores 160 every week. What am I going to do at that point? So. Let's move on. So I don't like talking about my losses. Okay, so Rams Steelers at Rams. Now I was wrong. You were right on this. I thought the Rams were going to control this game. I didn't trust the Steelers' offense. I will give Kenny Pickett this. He's great in the fourth quarter. I think he has over 100 passer rating in the fourth quarter this season, and he makes big plays. Matters. He makes big plays when he has to in the fourth quarter. I still don't trust this offense completely, but this defense is elite. And again, T.J. Watt with a big pick. And somehow the Steelers pull out another game where they're trailing. So, a lot to look forward to for the Steelers.
I'll go back and say it again. Can a defense win you games? And yes, it can.
It's showing this season.
It's pretty crazy.
For the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's showing this season.
Yes. I'm going the other way. I just want to talk about the Rams a little bit and how crazy. How is it? Puka Nacua, man. He's a absolute stud.
His first half was crazy in this game. Yeah. So
he's turning out to be like a top 10 wide receiver when people were saying, who the hell is this guy?
When it's all said and done, his numbers are going to be up there because he's already well past. He's probably close to 1,000 yards at this point. He's probably at like 700 or something like that.
Yeah, he has like 4 or 5 games over 100.
Yeah, so
yards. That's crazy.
It is crazy. Now with Cooper Kupp back, so the Rams. Look, the Steelers have the better roster than the Rams, and I think that's why the Steelers won this game. But the Rams are going to be fighting.
This one went back and forth.
Exactly,
It came down to the last second.
And the Rams, I feel like their problem, like Stafford this season, if you look at his stats, he puts up some passing yards, but he doesn't have a lot of passing touchdowns. Seems like they settle for a lot of field goals, and they need to start putting more points on the board because if they're going to want to fight for a playoff spot this season, they got to stop playing these close games because the law of averages show you're going to lose half of those. So they're going to probably be an 8-9 win team. So all these games are important. They had this one and they lost it. So
yeah, for sure. It's going to be a tough one for them, but I can still see them scratching out a few more wins.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Making it close.
They have a shot at the playoffs this season. They could make the playoffs, in my opinion. And that AFC North is just looking... that's probably the best division in football. You have the Ravens at 5-2. You have the Steelers at 4-2. You have the Browns at 4-2. And then you have the Bengals, who might be the best team in that division, at 3-3.
That blows my mind. I can't believe the Bengals are at the bottom of that list.
I know. Yeah, so it might flip-flop by the end of the season, but I think the Ravens are going to win this division. So I think that just came down to talent, and it came down to Mike Tomlin being able to pull out victories in close, ugly games. The Steelers seem like they're great at that, playing these ugly games and finding a way to win at the very, very end. So okay, that was a great game for sure, very fun to watch, and both teams definitely have a lot to look forward to. So Browns at Colts, and look.
This one was the game of the week.
This was a shootout. This is a complete shootout. And I think that the historic start the Browns defense got off to, I think it came a little down to earth now because Gardner Minshew had a day. Pittman had a day. Josh Downs. I'm trying to scoop him up in fantasy right now. He's been great the last couple of weeks. You have Jonathan Taylor having a big game.
JT's coming back, man.
Dude, that offense was clicking today. It was clicking. And the Browns scored some points too.
I'm not going to lie. I feel like the Colts deserved this a little more than the Browns did.
After everything that, they lose their starting quarterback for the season, and they have a lot of fight in them, the Colts. Yes. Now, the big story to me is Deshaun Watson threw 2 ugly interceptions. Ugly. The second one, he had a great play getting out of the pocket, and then throws a terrible... I don't know what he was throwing.
Awful. Terrible.
Then he gets hurt, concussion protocol. He gets cleared, and I see him kind of wincing at his shoulder. He did have a shoulder injury that he missed games for this, but... they don't put him back in. Apparently, he was clear to play. They don't put him back in. I think he got benched.
I think he got benched, too. He was sitting there on the sideline with his helmet on, ready to go back in. But the coaches were not ready to put them in. Now, let me ask you this. If Deshaun Watson was playing this game, do you think they would have won this?
That's a very good question because he threw...
This is why I'm saying I think the Colts deserve this a little more.
That's actually a good question because he did already throw 2 terrible interceptions.
He was not looking good.
And P.J. Walker doesn't have that terrible mistake in him, and Deshaun Watson seems to do that a lot. And it's weird because obviously I think Deshaun Watson is better than P.J. Walker. But maybe for this scenario, yeah, maybe you're right. This scenario, P.J. Walker was the better fit for this game. But obviously, I mean, moving forward, you're paying him too much money to bench him, and he has that big playability, even though he's mistake prone too. So you gotta kind of ride or die with him.
And listen, I don't think any reports are going to come out either that he was benched. They're going to say like it was an injury. We were holding him out.
That's basically what they said. That's what the head coach said.
That's embarrassing though. Like you don't trust your starting quarterback to finish a game.
Well, you got to remember this is all speculation. But to us, it's speculation.
Screw speculation. They knew they could get it done. Last week they saw what he could do against the 49ers.
Yeah, but it's not like he lit it up. It's not like he lit the game up. What they scored 19 points.
They did.
He didn't light it up, but this game they scored a lot of points, so I'll give them that. But, you gotta remember that like Kareem Hunt had a good game, and like they had things going for them. But obviously P.J. Walker's capable, but I don't think he's better than Deshaun Watson. This was literally just a shootout though, and a fun game to watch. So against 2 teams that are kind of feisty and competitive.
This was very fun to watch. It was going back and forth with like 2 minutes left.
And the Browns are 4-2 now, and I know the defense kind of faltered a little bit in this game, but I still think this is a great defense. So they're 4-2. They have a wide open chance of making the playoffs right now, but we don't trust their quarterback right now. So
yeah, that's completely understandable. But that defense, man. Okay, so I was talking about it before. So we were talking about Michael Parsons being MVP. Myles Garrett, man, he was phenomenal.
2 strip sacks and jumping
over the line
and blocking the field goal.
He is phenomenal. Like, if there's one player that's gonna make MVP defensive wise, it's definitely him.
And I think
that person's out of the picture at this point.
Yeah, he's kind of been quiet. He's been getting sacks, but he's been kind of quiet the last couple of weeks of Dallas defense. But that's actually a good point because let's think about it. Myles Garrett, I just saw a stat. I think he has the most sacks in a career in the NFL before turning age 28. Now that's up there with some big names: Reggie White, Bruce Smith. That's crazy. That's crazy. That means he's on pace to be an all-time great right now, and he goes under the radar. Why? Because he plays in Cleveland. So it's
it is pretty funny.
And we talked about this yesterday. Imagine he was on the Niners. Yeah. They'd be talking about him every day.
And there's no phenomenal player that I'm really looking at. Like, yeah, they're getting MVP. Like, McCaffrey's up there,
and Tua was up there, and now he just had.
Yeah, Tua
now he just lost.
Yeah.
So Mahomes maybe, but he just won last year, and they haven't been great.
No, they haven't been great.
Justin Herbert was up there for a while. Now they're 2-4. Purdy was up there, and now he's faltered.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts has kind of had an up and down year. That's a very good point. McCaffrey, to me, it would be McCaffrey. To me, it would be McCaffrey right now.
Puka Nacua.
Yeah, no.
Imagine.
No. Maybe rookie of the year. It's hard because Stroud's up there too, and it's hard to beat out a quarterback. You know what I mean?
It is, but
we'll see. We got a long way to go.
That's
still,
going to be interesting.
Commanders at Giants, and your Giants won. You got this right.
Woo-hoo!
I got this wrong.
Go.
I can't bet the Commanders anymore because every
time you bet the Commanders, they fold on you.
And I was so high on Sam Howell the first couple of weeks, and now that just came crashing down to earth. 7 points. How do you only score 7 points? Now, that's a testament to the Giants' defense, because especially in the first half, Dexter Lawrence was just running right through the offensive line.
Dude, we were getting sacks after sacks, man. We were taking them down. I was very impressed by our defense.
And your rookie corner, Deontay Banks, looks like a player, too. The defenses look... Okereke starting to actually play like the person you signed, and your defense is looking pretty good right now. It's looking top 10 in my opinion.
Yes.
And Tyrod Taylor, I think it's time to admit he's a top backup, and he made it to the playoffs with the Buffalo Bills, and he's a pretty good quarterback. And Daniel Jones sometimes holds on to the ball too long, and he doesn't. He gets the ball out quick, moves out of the pocket, makes good decisions, and all of a sudden Darren Waller's open out of nowhere. It's not that that's the thing. It's not like he's open out of nowhere. It's because Daniel Jones wasn't getting him the ball, and Tyrod Taylor knows that he needs to do that.
I think this is perfect. They need to apply a little pressure to Daniel Jones to get him going and say, hey, it's not just you. Other quarterbacks can get this done. I don't know if it's the line improvement dramatically over the last 2 weeks because they have looked better.
Yeah,
they
have looked better, but I feel like Tyrod Taylor's a lot of that. The reason for that, because how does it just look? The only difference is Daniel Jones, and that's the only difference that's changed. I mean,
he just has more pocket awareness.
Yeah, that's what I think. But I think Daniel Jones is obviously a better quarterback. He's got the better arm. He's bigger. They're both quick, but I think Daniel Jones is better, obviously. But I think for this offense right now, if you want to win, maybe Tyrod Taylor's a better option. But you can't bench Daniel Jones. You're paying him too much money, that's not an option.
No, it's not. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a little scared of what they're gonna look like with Daniel Jones back.
I know, and if that first game's coming this week against the Jets, and you lose to the Jets, you're gonna be hearing.
Just keep Tyrod Taylor in there. Let us get
at least one more week. Yeah, because think about all the things you're gonna be hearing from the Jet fans on the radio and stuff.
Dude, I'm
gonna be roasting you.
Dude, I don't care if I lose. We lose every game after this. Let us win this one game.
So, I mean, I think now we all know the Commanders are frauds and they're not that good. So,
no, everyone's
Sam Howell sacked on a record pace for sacks. And I think a lot of the times he takes sacks too, and he doesn't get rid of the ball quick enough. So, this is what you get sometimes,
He's a rookie, yeah.
And I don't know if they're going to keep riding with him after the season, though, because, he's so up and down, man. He's so up and down. He had some great games, some terrible games.
He got sacked 40 times this whole season. Come on.
Yeah, he's on pace for like 90 or something like that. 100, yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
You got to think, is this guy going to get injured eventually?
He will, yes, he will. He's a big guy, though, but he probably will, yeah.
I don't know if you're going to start blaming that on him or the line.
Well,
something's going on.
Well, eventually they're going to blame that coach, Ron Rivera, and it looks like this is going to be his last season because they've been trying to fire new owners, and they're going to want to bring in their own guy. So that means probably has to change the quarterback too. So the Commanders are in kind of that purgatory where they're not terrible to get a high pick, and they're not great. So,
but they have they
have players,
keys there.
Especially on offense. They have some players. McLaurin, Robinson's coming on. Curtis Samuel I like a lot. Jahan Dotson I like a lot. Yeah. Logan Thomas. And they have a good D-line. So Giants always get right on the Commanders, don't they? Seems like that.
I'm just happy it was in a tie again.
So, yeah, exactly. That was crazy. So Jaguars at Saints, and Trevor Lawrence was hurt, but he's played. And this is what you want from your star quarterback. You're not always asking him, go out and play great every single game. No, you're asking him, when you're hurt, short week on Thursday night, on the road, go out there and pull out a win. And that's what he did this game. So Trevor Lawrence, his numbers might not always look great, but he's a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. The only thing is, they were controlling this game most of the time, but they let the Saints stick around too long, and then it almost came back to bite them. They tied it up when they should have really been blowing this team out.
Yeah.
The Saints were not playing up to par.
No.
And the Jaguars could have easily pulled away from that, but they made that a lot closer than it should have been, in my opinion.
I agree, but I felt like the Jaguars always... It did get interesting at the end, and then Christian Kirk had a great play, and look... I always felt like the Jaguars were going to win this. They just felt like they had control the entire time. Maybe things are different though if that guy didn't drop the ball in the end zone. So for the Saints, Johnson,
oh yeah, that's right.
I think it was Jawan Johnson.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and then he was on the sideline like crying.
That was rough, man. Oh no, sorry, it was Foster Moreau. Oh, that was rough, man. And he actually played with Derek Carr on the Raiders too. So
yeah, so he had that rapport.
But
built.
Derek Carr is just not that good anymore. Let's just be honest. He had one good drive, 2 good drives, and it was like too little, too late.
He's not synced up with the wide receivers. Like he was getting earful from Jameis Winston, and I'm not gonna lie, that's the last person you want to hear from.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like kind of embarrassing. He was like, "Yeah, I hear you, man." Like it was embarrassing.
And do you
remember
when
this veteran quarterback just hearing it from this backup?
Do you remember when he screamed at Olave to keep running? Meanwhile, he threw it like 10 yards out of bounds. Oh he was.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. He's just not fitting well with the Saints team.
And he's got a long contract, so they got a couple years to make this work. But they could still look. Their schedule's still very easy. There's still a way where they pull out this division and they win this division because it's so damn easy and their schedule is so damn easy. So I still see a way where they win this division. They just have too much talent. It's both sides of the ball. Their defense is pretty good.
I know.
And their offense should be better.
It's all Derek Carr at this point.
It is.
Unfortunately, I've just seen too many missed throws and miscommunication.
Too many missed throws. Too many miscommunications. And it's like,
I know.
Stop screaming at everyone else. Sometimes it's your own damn fault, Derek Carr. And he admits it in the post-game press conference. I like Derek Carr, but now there's so many, Stroud just got drafted. There's so many better younger quarterbacks now. He started 2-3 years ago, I had him at 11, 12, 13. Now he started to slowly fall because there's younger, better quarterbacks. Now he's probably at 16.
Maybe we just need to give him some time to develop with this team a little more.
It is a long season too. So and they did almost pull it out at the end. Things could have been different if the drop didn't happen. But like I said, they have an easy schedule, so they're going to pull out some wins, and they're just too talented. Okay, so Cardinals at Seahawks, an NFC West showdown. The Cardinals kept this close, Dylan. They kept it close. They always do. But again, they lost. The perfect tank job. Make it look easy.
That's what I've been saying from the beginning.
That's what I mean. That's why I was bringing up your reference last week.
That's funny, man.
Jackson Smith and Jigba finally had himself a game.
Finally.
Yeah.
It was only a matter of time where he was going to go off.
Of course, Kenneth Walker was good. The Seattle Seahawks D-line, though, they were getting a lot of sacks in this game, and the Cardinals' whole line couldn't really hold up much. Josh Dobbs, he made some plays, had that good, nice rushing touchdown, but he struggled at times, too, obviously. They're going to struggle with the Cardinals, but, again, they were in it to the very end. This was a very close game.
Yes.
Closer than it should have been.
I'm still wondering what the Cardinals are doing, man. It just blows my mind how they can almost give up a great quarterback to tank. I don't know what's going on there with the whole.
I think they actually
Kyler
are.
Murray.
I think they're genuinely trying to win these games. It looks like they're trying to win.
They make it look good.
Yeah. So after he posted last week, it came out that Kyler Murray started practicing again. So it looks like he's coming back. So
slowly but surely.
So it looks like they're probably not going to end up with the number one pick because they're going to win some games. I don't see Kyler Murray losing 10 games in a row. He's too talented for that.
I'm interested what he looks like when he comes back.
Yes, with a new coach, some new players, new scheme on offense. We'll see. No more Cliff Kingsbury there. So we are going to see what happens with Kyler Murray when he comes back, and I'm very high on him. And you have questions, so we're gonna. I don't think it's gonna be this week. I think it might be the week after this.
But you gotta realize he is a running quarterback, and he relies heavily on that.
And he gets hurt.
But he's coming off an ACL tear. So
yeah, so
that's
not
his whole scheme.
Let's not forget though. He He throws a
rocket.
People forget he's got a beautiful arm. Like he really does. And he's got a weird delivery, but like he throws a laser. I will say that. And they do have Hollywood Brown. They have some players still. Falcons at Bucks. This was a defensive battle, close game till the end. Falcons pull this off, and the Falcons are 4-3 now. And they, like I said, the NFC South's wide open, and they are very talented. All Desmond Ridder has to do is not blow the games, and he actually almost blew this game, but he didn't, and the Falcons win. But
Drake London's looking like a stud out there, man.
He is.
He using everything in his power to get that touchdown. I don't think it was a touchdown. They almost called it a touchback.
Oh, where he flipped. Yeah, where he flipped. That was a sick play.
He goes all out.
He gave up his whole body there, like you used to do in flag. Yeah. I'm kidding. Well, I'm not, but you got it. I'm not. Bijan Robinson, I guess he was sick. He didn't play. They ruined my parlay.
Yeah, they ruined everyone's parlay. Yeah, I think he got like 3 snaps.
And speaking of running game, the Bucks cannot run the football at all. It's the same problems for the Bucks, and they can't run the football, and they expect Baker to throw it 40 times and expect to win. Baker is not that kind of guy. If he needs a running game, he needs pass protection, he needs to play action. He's not going to throw 40 times and win you a game. We know this.
A lot of quarterbacks aren't.
Yeah, exactly. Not like you said this a couple months ago. Not everyone's Mahomes, and that stuck with me. That's why I bring it up now. Not everyone's Mahomes. He needs like Goff. Like I said, sometimes they need consistent running games, and this team never has it. So
yeah, I think they need to draft a running back or do something.
And they have a decent O line too, so it's kind of weird. I guess
a good defense too.
They have a decent. I guess they have a decent pass protection O line. I guess their run O line is kind of bad. So get some run blockers in there in the draft. That's for sure. Maybe. Well, we'll see. I mean, will they finish with 7-8 wins? How are they going to draft the quarterback at that point? I'd like to see them take a quarterback at some point. Baker's been fine though. This isn't Baker's fault. It's the lack of the running game. Expecting Baker to sit back and throw 40, 50 times and expect to win. You're not going to win like that.
No, for sure.
So, Falcons. I'm still not crazy about them like some people are.
Bucks, but I'm not crazy about them either.
Yeah, and so
two teams that were just
both in the NFC South, but the Saints, who we're also not crazy about. Yeah. So
that whole division,
and definitely not crazy about the Panthers. Yeah. So that's the least.
That's a weird division. That's like one division that like they're not going past the first round.
It's the worst division in football. Yeah, the wild card team. They're probably going to end up playing Dallas because Dallas is probably going to be the top wild card team.
Their doors kicked.
Exactly. In. So Packers at Broncos. Talking about doors kicked in. I mean, both these teams suck. They always get the doors kicked in. That's right. I'm putting the Packers in. That the Packers seem like they suck. Like they get embarrassed by the Lions. You're losing to the Denver Broncos, who left 70 points to Miami, and you're only scoring 17 on them. It's time. I looked at the numbers. I don't have them here in front of me, but Jordan Love, when throwing 10+ yards, they're not good numbers. Let me tell you that much. So he struggled when having to throw the ball down the field, and he struggled in first halves. Again, he almost got it going in the second half, to where they almost won.
You know, they just haven't got anything started. The Packers. They looked good in the beginning.
The first game against Chicago, like great, but then Aaron Jones got hurt. Some of their linemen got hurt. Yes. They've been gotten off the slow starts in games, and here you are, 2-4, I think. So
I don't know what to make of it yet.
I don't know either. Russell Wilson, he's been fine this year. Hasn't been great. He hasn't been great. He hasn't been great. Hasn't been terrible. He's been making plays when he has to, I guess. But he's obviously not worth the money they paid him. But I can't say that the Broncos' flaws are Russell Wilson. I can't, because he hasn't been losing them these games. If anything, he put them in a position to kick the game-winning field goal here. He's been okay. The Chiefs game was the one game where he was bad. He was bad in that game. Other than that, he's been pretty decent this season.
Is that the only one? What about the Broncos? I mean, what about the
Miami? I guess the Miami game. The offense only scored 14 points, so I guess that's a good point. But points. I guess I'm talking more of his numbers. They're better than last season, but yes, the eye test, he's still not passing the eye test. But they got to win here. They're not a good team. Neither of these teams are good, it seems like. So
yeah,
we were wrong about this.
Nothing much to go off of this one.
We were wrong about this. Now, speaking of another game we were wrong about.
Another bad game.
Raiders at Bears. And let's look, we saw that there was going to be 2 backup quarterbacks, so we picked the better roster. We were wrong. Tyson Bagent had a good day in this game.
So, yeah, kudos to him. He's the first rookie of the draft class to win his first game.
I know. The rest of them lost. Richardson, Bryce Young. That's crazy. Yeah. And
he didn't play bad.
I think he was Division II in college, and he won the Division II Heisman. It has a different name, but he was basically slept on.
Yeah, of course.
And I think he had something close to 60 family.
I was about to say that. Yeah, he had 60 family. I mean, yeah.
Slash friends. Yeah, 60 family members.
I would tell everyone to come out.
Yo, let's go.
Only game I'm ever gonna play in. I'm bringing everyone there,
dude. And think about someone in the stands, like a Raiders fan, like, you suck, Tyson. What? Get him! And they're all just like throwing him around. But it was a nice game for him, and like that's a great way for. And obviously Justin Fields is the starter here. There's nothing, but like it's nice that you have a backup that adds some juice to this team.
Yeah,
and he had some moxie to him, and I was a little impressed by him. But
the Raiders,
Brian Hoyer needs to retire. Why is he even playing at this point? He's old, he's washed up, and they just look dull. They just look so dull, that offense, and they're not getting Devontae Adams the ball enough. And that's just, and I get why, because he's Devontae Adams, so they're going to double him up. So then that's why Jacoby Myers has been having so much production. But at some point, you gotta get him his. That's how you're gonna win, and he said it. Like,
yes, and he's not one to take lightly with that either.
He's not happy.
He is not happy, and you don't want to not happy Devontae Adams.
He's gonna demand a trade. Yeah, let's get him on the Jets back with Rodgers. He's not gonna get traded this season probably, but I think this is last year.
Either. He's just not on a good team right now.
I actually got a nice proposition for you. Imagine a world where the Giants could get Devontae Adams.
Oh my God!
You guys could use him.
Yeah, we could use him. We need it like that number one.
Jets could use him too, but I'd probably be in the offseason.
I give him two first rounders, man.
Do you think this is his last season on the Raiders? He's under contract.
That's a good question. So we got a 1-year deal with the Raiders?
Multi-year, and I think he's in his second now, but he's going to be there. He still has a few more years, I think. Well, would you trade him?
Nah, not yet. I still need to see more from.
Well, as the Raiders, I wouldn't trade him, but would he want out? That's a whole other question with Devontae Adams. He's not happy, and he was right. Like, if you're gonna win consistently, it's gonna be with him involved in the offense. So
I mean, you got some winning players there. Josh Jacobs, him alone.
Exactly, and Max Crosby, him alone.
Yeah.
And you got some receivers, Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers is.
Don't forget about Hunter Renfrow. Like, people forget, like, he doesn't even get the ball anymore. People don't even get the ball anymore. So, anyway, we both went 5-8, like I said.
Bad week.
So now I'm 57-49. So that's 8 games over 500, and you are 63-43. You are still 20 games over 500. So you are 6 games ahead of me still. I gained no ground on you. I lost no ground on you. So rough week. Hopefully we can bounce.
I think it's going to be just as bad this week. There's a lot of questionable games. You think are going to be, they got that. The Bills are going to beat the Bucs. Are they? Are they going to beat the Bucs?
It's funny you say that, because when I do my picks for the week and I'm like sitting there thinking about it, I usually do all the ones that are obvious, and then I pick the hard ones at the end. There were like 5 or 6 that I held off to the end. I'm like, holy wow, there's so many tough games this week.
Yeah,
it seems like that every week though. Now it's like because we see how some of the upsets, it can go either way, and we saw Monday night with the Niners and Vikings. It could go either way.
Oh yeah, speaking of, aren't you supposed to have a shaved head? What happened, man? You're gonna lie to the viewers?
I was hoping that you wouldn't bring that up.
We should have signed a contract.
Well, I am getting a haircut tomorrow.
You said down the middle. Down the middle.
I know.
Come on, you got to look like Avatar.
That would have been crazy. We should have shook on that or something. But it's funny. I never in a million years thought that was going to happen. So it's funny when you say outlandish things and you don't back it up. And me.
Yeah, what was the other one? You said something where you're going to shave your head. If Joe Burrow, if the backup ended up
in the Super Bowl. Yeah. Well, that won't happen.
Yeah, no.
That one's a little crazy.
I mean, that might have happened. Look at Joe Burrow.
Well, I'm always talking about shaving my head.
You should do shaving your beard.
I will never shave my beard. I almost left the job because they made me shave my beard, but then I got my way. I finagled my way out of it. I don't even remember how, but
it's like, no, that's a part of me. That's my personality.
I said that. I think I said that. I'm like, dude, I've had my beard for like 6 years now. It's who I am.
I'm just a beard guy now.
When you have a beard, you never lose the beard. It's like you get the beard. You're forever weird.
No,
That's how I say.
And once you shave it, you look like a different person completely.
Yeah. You don't even know what I look like without a beard. You've never seen me without one. So
don't do it.
Let's
man.
not start now.
Don't do it.
So let's get into these picks.
Yeah,
you can't be friends. Now you're starting to grow a beard. It's a little patchy.
No,
I'm messing with you.
No, this isn't nothing. I just got shit.
It's the most I've ever seen you with facial hair. I will say that. It's actually not
what
that patchy.
What are you trying to say, man?
I don't know,
baby?
man. I'm making a simple observation here. Anyway, let's get into these picks for this week. Let's start with that Thursday night football game, Dylan. Bucks at Bills.
And Bucks.
You were just talking about
the
this.
curse of the Thursday night football game.
The prime games. They're just terrible. Al Michaels, I'm telling you, I say this every week, he's going to fall asleep one day. He's going to fall asleep one day on the broadcast. He's going to be like, so Kirk. And Kirk's going to be like, Al, he had a heart attack. Someone get it. He's like, what? He's like 70 years old. So God, I'm a little mean right now.
Yeah. But listen, don't sleep on the Bucks, especially the Bills. The Bills seem to sleep on these bad teams and always get smacked right in the face.
I was the one that wasn't sleeping on the Bucks in the beginning, but then, they got kind of whacked by the Eagles, they got whacked by the Lions, and now the Bills got to get right here. They had a close one against the Giants, and they lose now to the Patriots. They're gonna bounce back this week, so I got Bills.
I hope they bounce back. They need to. Otherwise, we're gonna have some real problems.
We will for sure.
Yes, I'm going Bills too.
Jets at Giants, Dylan.
Jets
at Giants.
Are you getting the Giants?
I'm guessing we're just gonna. I've got Jets. You got Giants. Let's just say it right now. And
yeah, for sure.
And once every 4 years, the Jets play the Giants. Once every 4 years. This is like a holiday to us. We're both going. This is going to be crazy.
Listen,
we've been waiting for this. So we became friends about 4 years ago. We've always been talking about going to this game, and now it's happening. It's here.
First game I'm going to.
This is his first ever game. He went to a Jets preseason game with me one time.
Doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count. I don't count preseason either. But I got Jets in this one.
I got Giants.
Now,
Dexter Lawrence is going to mess up.
So that's
Wilson,
the thing.
I'm telling you.
I know for a fact that the Jets defense, the Giants aren't going to score any points. But will the Jets score points? I don't know. It's going to be a very low-scoring game. They're both offenses are going to look terrible, basically. That's how I see it. It's going to be like a 10-9, 14-13 game. It's going to be a close game, but it's going to be fun to watch.
Saquon is going to be running it down your throats.
I actually could see that happening because the Jets' run defense isn't great. Do not drop back the pass, though, because you're going to either get sacked or you're going to turn the ball over. So don't do that.
I'm a little afraid what that line's going to do to us, but,
Same the other way around. I'm scared about the Giants' D-line against the Jets' O-line, so...
I mean, I really got to figure out what's happening with Daniel Jones. Do you know any update on that?
I'm assuming that he's going to come back this week. He missed 2 games now.
He was questionable for the last one. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he's going to be back this week. So, yeah, it's going to be fun, man. Can't wait to see. Can't wait to see for sure.
Don't break his neck off, man. We need him.
That's what I'm saying. This might not be the game for him to come back. Cause,
I know. Let Tyrod ride it out one more time.
Especially since he's looked good. And
exactly.
He's almost won 2 in a row.
Yes,
because the Bills game.
We should have won that one straight up.
So
that's a win in my book. We're not talking about that again.
So Texans at Panthers. I gotta go Texas here. The Panthers are just so bad.
Yeah. Bryce Young isn't really. He's all right, but he's just all right.
And
CJ Stroud, he's just looking phenomenal.
Yeah,
he had his first pick like a week ago,
but he still looked good in that game.
He still looked good, but it was going to happen.
The ball just comes out of his hands so naturally. It's like poop. Poop. It just like dots people up.
It looks like he's been in the NFL already.
For 5 years. Yeah. And Bryce Young looks like a little baby. Probably because of his size a little bit, but yeah. I don't want to mess with the guy's size.
Yeah,
like
he has Adam Thielen, but that's about it.
And Thielen's kind of resurrected his career here. He's been good on the Panthers. I will say that.
Yeah.
I will say that.
You'd put anybody like around a bunch of nobodies, of course.
Someone has to step up. Yeah, that's a very good point. Like, who else is there? Like, they have DJ Chark, but he's been up and down and hurt. They have that guy Mingo. It's really been an Adam Thielen show. So,
and who's their running back again?
Chuba Hubbard and
Chuba
Hubbard and I don't know who's their other running back. Oh, they have don't they have Miles Sanders?
Oh, Miles Sanders.
He hasn't done much this year.
That was one person I actually thought. I was like, okay, you're away from that quarterback that runs a lot, so you're not going to get a lot of action. I get why he wasn't really going off on the Eagles, so I thought he was going to go off on the Panthers, but I haven't seen much from him.
Very quiet. I haven't heard anything at all. So, okay, Rams at Cowboys. This one was tough for me, Dylan. I went back and forth on this, but the Cowboys are home here, and I think the Cowboys have the better overall roster, so I'm going to go Cowboys.
So the Cowboys just have been disappointing, and the Rams. I feel like the Rams could definitely pull out a win here. They have the better offense. I honestly think they have a better offense.
Okay.
Straight up.
Okay.
The Cowboys do have a better defense, but the Cowboys just seem to choke, especially in situations like this. Did they just come off a bye?
The Cowboys, I think they did. Did they play last week?
I don't think they did.
No, I think so. You think you're right. They came off a bye.
So they might be a little sluggish. I don't know what the stereotype is if teams coming off of byes are better.
Depends.
Or worse.
If you're well coached, they usually win. If you're not, they lose.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'm getting Rams here,
and that's a good point. Mike McCarthy, a lot of question marks. Now, when you said something interesting, you said the Rams' offense is better in your opinion. And the more I think about that, my first take was you're crazy. But then I thought about it.
Yeah, I had to think about it before I said it.
Then I thought about it. You might not be wrong. Because you got Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Atwell's had a good year. Kyron Williams, if he comes back healthy, he's had a big year.
Yeah.
And who do the Dallas Cowboys have other than CeeDee Lamb? Good point. So you make a good point there. I will go Cowboys because I think
you switch your pick on there.
No,
I'm switching.
No, I won't. That would be funny though. But this was one of the ones I was going back and forth on for sure. But okay.
And especially as a Giants fan, I got to see them get there.
Got to root against your Cowboys.
Their rear ends pounded.
All right, so Vikings at Packers, and this is tough because the Vikings are kind of on the rise. The Packers are kind of falling off a little bit, but the Packers are home here, and the Packers are the tough draw at home.
And I feel like every time we think the Vikings are getting good, they choke. They drop the ball.
But I will go Vikings here because I just like the way Kirk Cousins has been playing lately. Jordan Addison is really starting to come on as a legit receiver. Yes. The defense has been playing better too, and I just can't see I don't see a scenario where the Packers come out firing on offense. They just haven't done that. So I see the Packers falling behind again early in this game. So
and didn't what's his name get hurt? Christian Watson get hurt?
I think so.
He did. We gotta look into that and see if he's playing or not.
That's a good point.
But he's done it like most of the season without him, so I think he'll be fine regardless in that matter. The Packers they haven't been that good, but I think they're going to bounce back. I think Jordan Love, he's looked really good, and he showed a lot of promise. You don't think he's good, but I still think he has some talent in him.
I do think he has talent. I do think he's a nice arm. I do think he moves nice, but it's just for some reason it's like doesn't translate. Like even that touchdown throw he threw to was it Romeo Doubs? Even that touchdown throw he threw to Doubs. He was wide open. He kind of underthrew him. The one where he kind of wrestled with the guy for the touchdown.
The one that should have been an interception. Right?
Yes, that one.
That was very controversial.
Now the other one I think was
Sutton literally had the ball in his hand, and then
Surtain, yeah.
Then what's it? Romeo Doubs literally just put his hand on the ball, and they call it a touchdown.
That was very
controversial.
Very controversial.
I don't get how that. Apparently, if they have possession, and I don't know how it works, but. No matter if they have their hands on the ball.
Ty goes to the receiver or something like that.
Yes, that's what it is. Ty goes to the receiver.
Think about it. They don't get that. Maybe it's a different... Well, I mean, they lose anyway, but it
didn't look like a tie to me. It looked like he had full possession. And
I agree with that.
He just was putting his hands on the ball.
So that was weird. But
very weird.
But it's a tough divisional game, so it could go either way. I'll give you that. And the Packers are home. But I do think the Vikings keep it up and they get to 500. So Saints at Colts. This one is hard for me, but I'm going to go Saints, and I'll tell you why. The Colts seem like it's like an every other week thing. They're good one week, bad, good, bad, good, bad.
And now they're gonna have a good week.
This is their bad week. This is their bad week. So
you're saying the Colts. The Saints are the same way though.
That is true.
Both of these teams.
So are they like alternating? Like one's good, one bad.
Either like
a climax, a big climax,
like Brown and Colts.
Yeah,
we're gonna get another one of those games. I hope so.
If anything, it might be the opposite.
Some more good games like that.
If anything, it might be the opposite because the Saints have a good defense and their offense isn't good.
It's gonna be like a 13-16.
I think that's how it's gonna go. But I got the Saints in this one. I think Carr bounces back a little bit in this game. Maybe he can finally throw more than one touchdown pass. Maybe throw two for once. But they have too many receivers and they have too much talent on offense. They have to get it clicking eventually. The Colts, you gotta win this game. Look, you're going against Gardner Minshew. He's had some good games, but he's had some bad ones. I think this will be a bad one I think against a good defense.
I think he's been looking better than worse. Yeah.
No, he has. He's
2 rushing touchdowns against the Browns.
To me, he's a top 3 backup. Yes.
So what you got? Tyrod Taylor at 1.
I think Gardner Minshew's probably 1.
Really?
Now, who else? We gotta start thinking about around the league. You got, let's. What Well, Dobbs, I guess, is a backup, but he's starting now. But
no, Dobbs is a backup.
But he would be up there. He'd be in my top 5.
That might just be the top 3 right there.
Dobbs, Tyrod Taylor, and Andy Dalton's up there. Andy Dalton's definitely in that top 5. Who else? That's most of it right there. That's my 4 right there, or 5. Dalton.
3 backups won this week.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
Well, in one of those games, 2 of them were backups, so it's like you were gonna have a backup winning that game anyway. But anyway, moving on.
Dude, a lot of quarterbacks are getting injured. We were talking about this before.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
So crazy.
And now Watson's hurt again. I don't know. Is he hurt again? I don't even know. Is he benched? We'll find out. Patriots at Dolphins. Let's move on.
They might hurt him on purpose.
Yeah, yeah. Come
Send
here.
a hit out on him. We got to put in some dirt on this guy.
We're talking about calling hits on people on the show now. What have we come to? But okay, Patriots at Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are going to bounce back this week. Patriots are going to come back to earth. They just had a huge win over Buffalo. They're going to kind of get brought back to earth in this game.
This might be an interesting game. This is what I'm saying. Every game that we think is going to be like, they're definitely winning. You don't know. The Patriots might just come back from another win, just have some momentum going. Dolphins might keep it going. Keep on.
Very possible, but that's why I'm not sitting here saying they're definitely going to win. But I do think
no definites anymore.
I do think Miami's going to win. I think this New England's going to come back to earth. They had a huge emotional win against the Bills, and Miami had a huge emotional loss against the Eagles. Miami's going to be pissed. Miami's going to want to come out and smash New England in the mouth. I think this could be a blowout. It could be.
Oh, don't say that. Every time you say that,
every time you say that, it's not.
But we predicted the game, man.
Right. So we both got Dolphins in that. Right?
Yeah. So yeah, of course I'm going Dolphins. I mean, of course.
How can't you? When you look at it on paper, how can't you though?
Yes.
So Jaguars at Steelers. This one was actually the toughest one for me to pick. I'm gonna go Jaguars. They seem like they've been getting slowly better and better each week. I don't trust the Steelers offense, and the rosters are close here, but I'm really liking Travis Etienne right now. Yeah. He's been on a tear, and the way this offense works, when Ridley's not going, you got Christian Kirk. When Christian Kirk's not going, or Ridley, you got Ingram.
Zay Jones, too.
And he's been hurt, but he should be back this week. So I got the Jaguars in this one. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have himself a nice little game here.
I'm interested to see how he matches up against the Steelers.
And Kenny Pickett...
He didn't play too well against the Chiefs' defense.
That is true. Now, Kenny Pickett is going against the Jaguars defense. Their secondary is a little weak, but they turn the ball. They force a lot of turnovers, and they have a good front 7 here. So
this is going to be a low-scoring game. 2 good defenses.
I could see it being under 20.
I'm interested to see this one.
I can see both teams scoring under 20, definitely, or maybe in the low 20s.
Yeah.
So Jaguars for that one.
I'm going Jaguars as well.
Falcons at Titans. This one was tough for me too. The only reason I'm going to go Titans is because the Titans are home, and I trust their coach a little more. I'll go Titans. I'm not confident about that though.
Listen, I've been riding the Falcons wave, and it's just been paying off.
Yeah,
every time I pick the Falcons,
me too. I'm the opposite. Every time I keep picking against the Falcons, and they keep maybe I should change my pick here. I won't.
No.
I won't.
So I'm getting Falcons here. Hopefully Bijan Robinson fought whatever sickness he has. I don't know what was going on.
I'm guessing it wasn't COVID because we would have probably heard it was COVID.
Yeah, that would have been controversial.
Yeah,
because you would have got the whole team
sick. Yeah.
They're not gonna say you got COVID. I'll say that. The Falcons just been on a high ride.
4-3.
Ritter's not bad. You keep on doubting him, but he's a pretty good quarterback.
He's done enough to not
is he better than Mac Jones? That's an interesting one, right?
I'll take Mac Jones.
You take Mac Jones?
Yeah, Mac Jones is a little more accurate, and Desmond Ridder. Mac Jones has been making a lot of mistakes.
What is this for him? Like his 3rd year, Mac Jones?
Yes, it's Mac Jones' 3rd year, but his 1st year he made a Pro Bowl. Let's not forget that.
This is Ridder's 2nd year, so they're kind of right there as well.
And let's not forget, Mac Jones had a nice rookie season, threw 20-something touchdowns and went to the Pro Bowl and made the playoffs. So let's not forget Mac Jones is not terrible. I don't think Desmond Ridder's terrible. Sometimes he turns the ball over in critical situations, and he needs to clean that up. But they're winning games. They're 4-3 right now, so the Falcons definitely a lot to look forward to. This is gonna be a close one. This is gonna be low. This is gonna be low scoring.
Yeah. I'm going Falcons
and Titans for me.
Let's go.
Eagles at Commanders. Now
this is another one. Like I said, you think the Eagles are just gonna win this, but are they?
Well, the Commanders played them close last time, so what that tells me is that this time it won't be close because it was close last time. I doubt that the Commanders are going to play the Eagles close twice. So I got the Eagles conventionally in this one.
Yeah, and honestly, they came off of a rough loss against the Giants, only scoring 7 points. What are the Eagles gonna do to you? Well, they might. This might be a get right week. Like they might think like, let's go. We just got destroyed by the Giants. 2 divisional games in a row too. Look at that.
Yeah. So that's a good point. They might want to bounce back. So maybe they do play the Eagles well. I still got the Eagles in this one.
Listen, I think it's gonna be within a touchdown.
That's not crazy. I think it'll be more in the touchdown actually. So we'll do
Eagles here too.
We'll do a little
watch out for that.
We'll do a little side action on that one. No, I'm kidding. Browns at Seahawks. This one was tough for me too. But like to me, even if Deshaun Watson plays, he's been shaky. His shoulder seems like it's not 100%. I gotta go Seahawks here. Plus the Seahawks are home. That 12th man. I gotta go Seahawks here.
This is a weird one.
It is weird.
If Walker plays, I think they're gonna win.
That's crazy.
Is a little embarrassing.
It's opposite. Like for me, it's like, oh, if Watson plays, but like, no, you're saying if Walker plays that they're gonna win. If Watson plays, they're gonna lose.
They beat the 49ers. Like, whew, goddamn.
Like, let's not forget that. Yeah, I guess let's not forget that.
You can't forget that. That's gonna be in my mind the whole season. I'm going Browns here. I guess either way, because I can't. Deshaun Watson had a bad week, but hopefully he bounces back. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
This one's interesting, man.
It is. This is one of those ones that was...
I want to pick Seahawks. Like, my heart wants to say Seahawks, but I don't know. The Browns are just...
The Browns tend...
Their defense alone.
The Browns tend to play up the better opponents, so I could definitely see the Browns winning this. But I think the Seahawks, their pass rush is finally starting to get going the last couple of games, especially started with the Giant game. And... I just see the Seahawks here. Like now, Jackson Smith and Jigba is getting going. Yeah. What's his name? Jake Bobo.
Jake Bobo.
He's been a beast, man. And one-on-one plays when it's
that crazy touchdown in the end zone that they didn't even call at first.
Yeah. And when he has one-on-one against man coverage, he usually comes down with that 50-50 ball. Jake Bobo. It seems like he's actually a player. And you got Jackson Smith and Jigba. They're kind of stacked.
Is that his first season?
Yes, I think so. And
yeah, because I never heard of him
pretty
before.
Stacked on offense with the 2 running backs and Metcalf and Lockett.
Who's their other back?
Charbonnet. Remember when he trucked that guy at the 1-yard line? That guy's a tank. Anyway, let's move on. Ravens at Cardinals. And boy, does this look like a game that the Cardinals could win just because it's like it seems so lopsided on paper.
So I'm going to go Ravens here. I think you can't choose Cardinals over the Ravens. After the week that they just had, but the Cardinals play hot. They're another one of those teams that play up to good opponents.
They do. I gotta go Ravens here too. I think the Ravens are just on a tear. They're hitting their stride. Everyone's getting healthy. It's gonna be hard. And I heard a stat. Lamar is it's either 15-1 or 16-1 against NFC teams in his career. Why? Because they're playing him for the first time. And when you play Lamar for the first time, you don't know what you're going to get. How are you going to prepare for him in practice? You will not find a backup quarterback in the league that plays like Lamar when you're trying to put your scout offense together in practice.
He's going to be another one of those players that beats every team in the league.
Pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much. So I think Lamar is going to put on a show with this game. And this might be the first time, I hate to say it, I hate talking about blowouts, so this might be the first time Arizona gets blown out. They have this kind of offense, the Ravens. If Lamar's clicking, it's going to get scary.
Watch out for my guy, Josh Dobbs.
Who also hasn't been playing bad this year, but he might get... The Ravens' defense is underrated, so this is going to be tough for him.
I'm getting the Ravens here, too.
Me too. Chiefs at Broncos, and I think we're just going to not even waste much time on this. Let's just say Chiefs and move on with our day, because...
Russell Wilson versus Patrick Mahomes.
It's a divisional game. It's a divisional game, and the Broncos are home. Game. The Broncos are home, but the Chiefs are just, let's not even,
They do, but they I don't know. They play down to bad opponents too.
They do, but the Broncos haven't showed me any reason to believe that they're going to win this game.
And the Chiefs just showed us, that
what
they're about.
And to me, the Chiefs winning all those one-score games just shows me that they could not play 100% and just keep finding ways to win. The Eagles have that quality too. And that's why they're the 2 best teams in my opinion. So and remember, the NFL is hard. Winning a game is hard in the NFL. There's close games all over the board. All over the board. The Giants-Bills game. Most people are just going to remember the Bills winning that game, not how it was close the entire game. You know what I mean?
I won't remember like that.
Oh, yeah, you will. But anyway, I'm just trying to say that most of these games are close, but the Chiefs winning all these close games all the time just shows me that they're well coached. They have obviously most of the reasons because they have Mahomes, but so it's neither here nor there.
Yeah, honestly, if Mahomes is out of that scenario, I don't see them winning any of those games.
Yeah, so that's true. It's my head coach and quarterback and on that team and tight end, but head coach and quarterback mostly.
Tight end for sure.
Okay, so Bengals at 49ers. Now, this one was the hardest one for me to pick. Now,
this one's really tough.
I wanted to say Bengals, but just the 49ers being home and losing 2 games in a row, they're going to want to bounce back really bad this week. So I have to go to the Niners here. I have to. Just because I can't see them losing 3 games in a row. They're too well coached. They have too much talent. And Brock Purdy is a good player.
Yeah,
so
and the Bengals haven't been playing up to par.
Exactly. So Brock Purdy's going to bounce back.
But don't forget 7-Eleven. Don't forget 7-Eleven.
Jamar Chase is always open. Don't forget that Joe Burrow.
Let's see against this 49ers team.
And this 49ers defense looks a little flawed. That secondary has been getting beat. They got beat by Kirk Cousins on Monday. So he was throwing the ball all over them. So
without JJ too.
Without JJ. So maybe this defense
should be an interesting game.
I think it's gonna be a close game, and I think this might end up being a high scoring game because the Niners defense is good and the Bengals defense is good, but the Niners defense is still special, but it's not as special as it has been in past years. But we'll both go Niners in this one. So Sunday Night Football, and this is a terrible Sunday Night Football game. Bears at Chargers. I'm going to go Chargers here. The Chargers cannot fall to 2-5, and they're going to be playing against Tyson Bagent because it doesn't look like Justin Fields is coming back this week. No, the Chargers are going to win this game. If they lose this game, they should fire Brandon Staley on the spot. They should.
Watch this. This is going to be another one of those games that literally come down to the wire. We're like, why is this even a close game? They're still going to win, but we're going to be like, what was that? The Chargers always do this, and it's going to be another
They week. Never look pretty in any
way. They don't. I can't see where they're firing on all cylinders. Like, wow, they had a great week.
But we won't go into this more. We got Chargers and that, and if they don't win that, that's an embarrassment. And then I'll shave my head. Okay,
okay, let's talk.
I'll never shave my head. Get with the program. Raiders at Lions for Monday Night Football. This is also not a great game. And look, I know I've been kind of saying the Lions got exposed, yada yada. They're going to blow them out here. The Lions are going to control us.
Oh, really? They're going to blow them out?
Lions play good against inferior teams. So I've been saying a lot of blowouts, haven't I? I got to dial that back. I got to dial that back. I definitely got to dial that back. But Raiders, look, they just have the better team. They have the better offensive line. They have the better quarterback. I think they have the better coach. They have the better defense.
They have like a similar offense. Like, if you put their offenses next to each other, I think they're very similar. Not similar, but like the amount of talent is kind of even.
It's even, but the offensive line is where the difference is, and the quarterback.
The quarterback is the main thing.
Exactly. So it's everything. So I got Lions in this.
Yeah, I'm going Lions too.
Okay, so we won't spend much time on that. So that is our picks for Week 8. We're almost halfway through the year. Go. Now it's time for our very famous Thursday Night Football parlay. Now, last week, neither of us hit. We both went 2 for 4. So I had Travis Etienne anytime touchdown scorer. I hit on that. Under 42.5 total points, I missed on that badly. Chris Olave over 61.5 receiving yards, I missed on that. I think he got like 57. And Derek Carr under 1.5 passing touchdowns, I hit on that. Only had 1 touchdown.
I had anytime touchdown, Travis Etienne, I hit on that. Travis Etienne longest rush over 14.5 yards, I hit on that. He had 17 for that 1 touchdown. That was pretty nice.
That was nice.
Yeah, it was. Right? Rashid Shaheed over 34.5 receiving yards. He had 28. Let me down. He missed. That's more Derek Carr letting me down, okay? Then I had Derek Carr under 235 passing yards. And he went over 301. It was kind of garbage.
He gets the passing yards. He just doesn't get the touchdowns. I've noticed that with him. So now for this week.
Keep that in mind for next time.
Exactly. Now for this week. The Bucs versus the Bills. This is a hard one for me.
Another interesting one.
It's hard to do a lot of Bucs here. So I got a lot of hammered Bills here.
We both hammered the Bills.
Exactly, yeah. So I have Bills minus 5.5. Look, I think the Bills are going to win, and I think they win convincingly. I think they win by at least a touchdown. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen, 2+ passing touchdowns. I think they're going to want to come out firing in all cylinders, especially since how they struggled last week. I think they're going to come out throwing, and I think they're going to get off to a hot start. So I think he's going to have that within the first half, actually. So Gabe Davis, 40+ receiving yards. I think the Bucs have a good, stingy defense. They're going to try to put the focal point Stephon Diggs, and that's going to leave Gabe Davis open for a lot of catches. Plus, Dawson Knox is hurt. Under 46.5 total points. Look, like I said, the Bucs have a good defense.
You sure you want to do that, man? Every time you do total.
Every time I do points, I'm wrong. But the reason I like this is because I think the Bucs have always been in low-scoring games, so they have a good defense. Yes. And the Bills, even though they're missing a lot of pieces, they also have a decent defense. So I think this is going to be a relatively low-scoring game. I think the Bucs aren't going to score. I don't think the Bucs are going to get to 20.
It's going to be a 30-30 game.
I think it's going to be more of like a 23-10, 25-16. It's going to be a low-scoring game, in my opinion. Now, I'm usually always wrong. Let's hope it's not the case. What are your picks, Dylan?
All right. So, for this one, it's tough, guys. You guys got to realize we're picking on Tuesday, and a lot of the prop bets don't come out until, like, Wednesday or the day before.
Exactly.
So, you know, we do have only a little bit to work with, but no excuses. No excuses. My first pick is going to be Josh Allen, 250 plus passing yards. You know, they're facing the Bucs. The Bucs are, I think they're ranked like 22nd against the pass, so I can see them airing it out this game. You know, James Cook, he's been more of a receiving back than anything. They really haven't got much of a running game going, so I feel like they're going to keep it in the air. Then I got the Bills winning in the first quarter. Now, I think they're going to be coming out.
Me too.
Ready to fire.
I agree.
Especially after an embarrassing loss like that. I think they're going to, you know, have something to prove here. And they're going to really be pushing the score right away. Then I have Stephon Diggs at 90-plus receiving yards.
Big number.
This isn't crazy. You look back, 5 out of the 7 games, he had over 100 receiving yards.
Interesting.
I wanted to do 100, but I knew I was going to get screwed over. It's going to be like 95.
Yeah.
Then the next one is also Stephon Diggs anytime touchdown. It's Stephon Diggs show.
Hammering Stephon Diggs. So Let's repeat that again. I have Bills minus 5.5. Josh Allen 2+ passing touchdowns. Gabe Davis 40+ receiving yards and under 46.5 total points.
And I have Josh Allen 250+ passing yards. Buffalo Bills winning in the first quarter. Stephon Diggs 90+ receiving yards and Stephon Diggs anytime touchdown.
All right. Almost halfway there. What a crazy season this has been so far.
God, yes.
Crazy is understatement. Like in the offseason, I made like my final standing predictions. And like you think in the offseason after free agency and after the draft that you know what's going to happen. And then the season starts and a couple games go and then you realize that you were completely wrong. Like I remember like thinking that I thought the Rams were going to be like maybe a playoff team. Then I thought they were going to be terrible, and they're not that terrible. I thought the Houston Texans were going to win like 2 games. They're not bad at all. I thought the Colts were going to win 2 games. They're not bad at all. I had the Commanders only winning 1 game. They've already won 3. So like
the Arizona Cardinals was going to be absolute.
And they're bad, don't get me wrong, but they're competitive in every game. They're not. Everyone thought they were going to be embarrassing. They're not embarrassing. They're not.
So they beat the Cowboys. I'm not forgetting that.
Beat the Cowboys.
You'll never forget that.
You'll never forget that, Dylan. So
well, we should promote our shows where. I mean, what you're doing now.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, that's a good point. So now I've been doing a weekly breakdown. So after so we say 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock games, but we understand that some people aren't on the East Coast. So it's really, so I'm doing a breakdown Sunday for the early afternoon window and the late afternoon window. So right after the late afternoon window, right before the Sunday Night Football game, I will do a quick recap, 15, 20-minute video on what I just witnessed. And then if you want to catch Sunday night and Monday night, just catch the first couple minutes of this podcast, and usually we talk about that right away because it's usually important games.
Yeah,
so
and
catch that.
We got my betting segment. You can't forget that.
That did pretty well. Well, it did not your results, but the video itself. You did a good job.
The video went good. My bets.
You put a lot of work into it.
2-4 on everything.
You put a lot of work into it.
Listen, I promise you, I will get one of them right this week. I will get one of the four-leggers right this week. Anyway, that's going to be coming out. I think I want to start doing it on Saturday. Maybe doing it Saturday night so people have some time to take a look at it, put their bets in themselves. So you guys could be expecting that on Saturday night. And then you could get his instant reaction. When does that come out?
So I've been posting that on Monday evening, but usually I film it, like I said, I film it in between the late afternoon window and the Sunday Night Football game. I'm thinking about maybe I post it Sunday night, but it wouldn't go up till like late at night anyway. So we'll keep it Mondays for now. So Monday evenings I've been posting.
Now it's Monday evenings.
Yeah, for Monday evening, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's what I've been doing because most people get out of work, to catch that. Just keep in mind the Sunday Night Football game won't be talked about or the Monday night. We'll talk about it on this podcast on Thursday. So that's really it. Now,
got a lot of content for you guys.
We got a lot of stuff. We have many different videos going up now, so try to keep up. Try to keep liking, subscribing, and sharing. We love you guys. Thanks for the support so far. Thanks, Dylan. See you next week. Go Jets!
Go Giants!